can't be human.
Was a cloak. It was easier to hide these beings when they were still feeding off of our energy in our asleep state. It was easier to hide them, easier to make them blend in. But now they can't blend in. And I feel like it's a whole lot more of them than what we actually realize, y'all.
If y'all see what we see, it's getting, the veils is gone. It's real out here. Let's just get straight into it, okay? Because we gotta spread some awareness around here. It's a lot of us who are seeing the veil lift right before our eyes and nobody to talk about it with. This that space, and I'm gonna share with you what comes up in my face, okay? Come on.
What's going on, Chosen? I have to come on and have a conversation with you all, okay? We need to talk. I am really taking note of a lot of people. I've always been a people observer, but of course now that my spiritual eyes are open, I'm not just seeing these people through my natural eyes, and it's becoming more and more apparent that a lot of the people that's walking the face of this earth, they're not human. They're not human. Now, I know that you all have heard the term mankind, right? There's a reason why that term surfaced. Mankind is kind of like a man, not quite, right? So today, this is not just today, but today is actually what caused me to create this particular message. I went to a grocery store. Now, in the area that I'm currently living in, because you all know I've been out here for a year now, it's just something very different. In certain regions, you go into the store. So today I went into the grocery store and I was looking around, just to get the things that I needed. But I noticed a lot of people were staring at me, right? Some of them was blankly staring. Others were just like, almost as if I did not belong there. Now, mind you, in this particular area, at that particular grocery store, you don't see a lot of people that look like me as a melanated woman. But then on top of that, yes, I do know that I adorn myself in a particular way that makes me stand out. So I'm not surprised at that. But it's a different type of feel is what I'm picking up when it comes to the looks. It's almost like, why are you amongst us? But they're not, first of all, y'all know I worked in healthcare for a significant period of time. And I did do a lot of psych. When I worked as a registered nurse, I also did psych nursing. And I noticed that there were certain traits that, some of the patients would carry. One thing that I did notice is that if a person does not swing their arms when they walk, something wrong, okay? I'm gonna just put y'all on. If a person does not swing their arms when they walk, something is wrong. Now, I'm noticing just the posture of a lot of these people in this grocery store. Their mannerisms. And at one particular point, I was just kind of going through my items in my cart as I waited in line. And you could feel somebody looking at you. So I happened to look up and there was this man, European man. He had his overalls on, right? And he was and so when I looked up, he quickly looked away. The weirdest thing, right? And he was also amongst the rest, where I'm just looking like, what am I surrounded by? Even the people that work, not all the people that work there, okay? I did meet one nice lady that actually, many of the people that work there, something is off. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I am speculating here, right? This is what my spiritual team has told me. I would love to hear your feedback out there and if you are noticing the same thing. So as we all know, this current system, the current structure is dying. The beast of Babylon is dying, okay? Why? Because many of the chosen see we've withdrawn our energy, okay? I told you all a long time ago, I was given a visual of a beast and a whole bunch of cords. And those cords were spiritual cords attached to a lot of people who have souls, right? The chosen seed. And that cord was actually like an umbilical cord to this beast that was feeding the beast. Like it was siphoning the energy, siphoning our energy. Especially as long as we stayed in low vibrational energy, that cord would remain. But the moment that we woke up and made a conscious decision to release a lot of unhealthy patterns, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy thoughts and traumas and things of that nature, that cord breaks, especially when you're doing generational curse breaking. That cord can no longer remain. And so the very source that the beast of Babylon fed on is practically non-existent because many of the chosen have awakened and see the importance of cutting these cords to the beast of Babylon, right? So with that being said, a lot of the energy that beast was siphoning, I hope that I wasn't covering the mic, y'all. A lot of the energy that beast was siphoning was being distributed to the NPCs, the zombies, the ones that would be considered mankind, right? Whatever these beings are, a lot of that divine energy that would make you human was actually being siphoned and redistributed to the beings that are not human. So imagine now that that beast is no longer feeding on the majority of the chosen, but there's still some chosen seed that's wiping the crust out of their eyes, okay? There's still some chosen seed that's very much so resistant to the truths that's being revealed to them, right? Because there's a fear of being judged, there's a fear of having to take the narrow pathway. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes with taking a narrow pathway. Many people just ain't ready for it. But there are a whole lot of chosen seed, enough chosen seed that have withdrawn from the beast of Babylon to the point where it is dying. That spark, that soul, that divine energy, that generating energy that we have because of our connection to the Most High Mother and Father is no longer being fed to the beast. So when it was siphoning our energy, when it had access and surplus, not only did it take what it wanted to get fully fed and full, it was then that energy was also being distributed to the beings that are not human. Now, I don't know what you want to call them. I don't know what you want to call these things, but something is like the more that I awaken, the more that my spiritual eyes open, the more that it's obvious. Now, back in the day, when I was still asleep and didn't understand things from the spiritual perspective, I might have said, okay, mentally something might be off with that person. Or, something just ain't right, but you don't, when you're asleep, you just say, okay, well, they're just different. Oh, hell no. Now that I am awakened, oh no, this thing is spiritual. These are beings that do not have a soul. You can tell by the mannerisms, by the posture, the body posture, I'm even seeing a far more common theme of people that look completely lifeless, like no life in them. It's almost like a dried grape. You see what I'm saying? You all know that raisins are grapes, right? At least that's what I was told. Raisins are dried up grapes. It's like in comparison to a grape that is plump, is full of life, it's vibrant, to this dried up, it's just, you can look at them and tell that there is not a soul present, okay? And so if you find that when you go out to particular regions or you're going to find them everywhere that you go, but there's certain areas where they tend to congregate, right? That particular grocery store is where I see them often, okay? That particular grocery store. And I've heard a lot of people say things like it was a conversation that was circulating in regards to the Walmarts, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, who are these beings that's walking around in the Walmarts? That's how I feel about this particular grocery store.
Anybody else just feels so drained, so tired when they go into Walmarts. Like it feels like their energy is just being siphoned.
Something is not right. And what was interesting is that I actually, as I was shopping, out of nowhere, a lady was like, she just walked up to me fast. She works there. She's like, excuse me. She complimented me, on my appearance, but she was like, it's just something about your energy. I can tell that you are very spiritual. I can tell, and some things are just kind of a dead giveaway, right? I got my earrings on. You see what I'm saying? I got my third eye piece here, crystals. You know what I'm saying? It's some things are obvious, but she also mentioned that she just doesn't see people who have a particular aura very often, right? Which I'm not surprised, especially in that particular grocery store. Something ain't right. Something is not right. And I feel like now that the beast of Babylon no longer has your energy to distribute to the masses, especially, it's almost like it was a cloak. You see what I'm saying? It was easier to hide these beings when they were still feeding off of our energy in our asleep state. It was easier to hide them, easier to make them blend in. But now, they can't blend in.
Imagine if that...
Obvious. They cannot blend in, okay? And I feel like it's a whole lot more of them than what we actually realize, y'all. What I'm really starting to feel like is that there's actually more of them than there are humans. There's more mankind than there are human beings, which means that they come in every shape, size, and color, whatever that is. And it kind of makes you wonder, Why so many? You see what I'm saying? What are they, space fillers? Are they distractions? Are they, again, gatekeepers, right? Because the more of them, the more easily they can be controlled, right? They can be used as pawns to do the bidding of the powers that were. I feel like they made them in droves, like large numbers of them have been created. And I don't know if this is damn factory babies.
They've been doing this, bro. They've been doing this. This is the little, they releasing the prototypes of what they've been doing. Oh, God. Look. It's already been known that the military and the government is like 70 years ahead of what they're actually giving us. The stuff that they're selling us and the things that they're telling us, they're 70 years ahead. They're keeping us in selective programming and like slowly feeding us the information. Come on, Shavi. Come on, talk about it, because this is some real stuff, bro. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what we're seeing right now with the veil being lifted.
I don't know what the hell you want to call them. I don't know what you want to call them. I do recall seeing a clip, and I'm gonna go back and look that up. There was something concerning the Cabbage Patch dolls. Y'all remember the Cabbage Patch dolls back in the day? Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. Okay, so yes, as I was saying, even with the Cabbage Patch dolls, it was a lot of speculations in terms of incubator babies, children that was actually being raised up, like planted as seeds and grown in fields like crops, okay, all types of things that people have speculated. But there was even a time where there was a man, from what I understand, named Martin County or something like that, who was actually had like in the middle of I don't know if it was a circus or more like a carnival, but people would come and watch babies that was inside of incubators. And he claimed that he was saving these premature babies, and it would be tons of them. And apparently there was no birth certificates, nothing like that, to verify who the child was, who the parent was, like where was these babies coming from. I say that to say, these beings have been mad scientists for a long time, right? Constantly trying to play the role of the Most High Mother and Father, to create these beings that are mankind but not human. Mankind but not human.
I'm gonna stop right here, only because I want to tell my vision and what I had saw that just made me react to this video anyways. And I also wanted y'all to just go watch the full video on her channel, because we got to give her some support. I'm just introducing you to the real ones. You feel me? Like the realness, okay? The ones who really seeing. Okay. Anyway, in the video, she basically was like, let me know if y'all, seeing anything like this. I've met reptilians, shapeshifters, different beings, people like they, especially in the malls, like I feel like that's their training centers, like where they actually learn how to interact with humans. Because people in the malls and sometimes in these movie theaters, they don't seem real. They don't seem human. I had a video go viral on TikTok. It had like 3.9 million views, and I was talking about my reptilian encounter when I was at the mall. But anyway, what I have to say about that video is I was talking to my mom the other day about this very thing, because we was talking about bloodlines and generational curses. And I was like, Mom, I'm seeing something. She was like, what are you seeing? And I said, I'm seeing a man who has a breathing mask on. And the breathing mask is connected to tubes that is connected with everybody in the bloodline. And the tubes are being cut. Like we're cutting the tubes within in the bloodline. And it's causing him to not be able to breathe. And I'm like, this is an entity that's been attached to the blood. It's like a sign to the bloodline. It's like the egregore, the entity assigned to the bloodline. I'm like, what if this? And I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, what if this is going on within other families? Like these different entities that are assigned to the blood, to the bloodline, to keep in the frequency a specific way. And the more he's able to breathe, the stronger he gets in his ability to interfere with other people coming in and trying to help them. Like everybody comes here and everybody got their spirit team that come here, and people that they have contracts with to kind of help them break the curses, break the chains that has been in the blood and been in the DNA, been in the veil of it all. I was explaining to her, I'm like, the stronger he gets, the more he gets to engage and interfere with other people coming in to kind of like make things worse. If you know what the law of attraction is, basically you attract more of what you are, right? So if there's this curse within the bloodline, you're going to attract more people who are activated by that curse and who can really circulate that curse energy and allow the entity to continue to keep breathing. But what I was seeing was, it was like this entity just breathing in the mass and just kind of placing like a cloud over the bloodline and a cloud over the family and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dang. And the cloud is like, it's like causing more like cousins to the entity, like the entities that work in different bloodlines, to come in and do and not fight with each other, but feed each other. You know, like it's just like every time he takes a breath in, he breathes out, and he adds more to like the barrier that is around the suppression of the bloodline. And then it's like a magnet. It's a magnet to other entities, and these entities come in and they do different deals between each other as to what they're going to feed each other, and how they're going to cause havoc and chaos and problems within their assigned person or the assigned bloodline. So like, it's the fact that she was talking about this beast not being fed anymore, and the cords are cut. And I'm like, I said the same thing. Like the cords that is able to allow this beast to breathe, of this entity.
I'm going to interject for a couple of minutes. Recently, today is July 12th, 2026, Sunday. Recently, I came to a similar conclusion that the energy, that individual energy that we released from our individual emotions, anger, hate, love, sex, confusion, that those particular energies are in fact being consumed by entities that are higher than us. I was just concluding to that fact also. And then I come across this interesting presentation today. So I'm recording it, and I am going to put it on my YouTube channel, because I believe the degrees of energy that we release is in fact being used as nutrient by other higher forces, higher than us, or even in different dimension. But with this presentation here, I have to concur with these two individuals that our energies are in fact being consumed by different entities. Some entities love warlike, some entities love stress, some entities love crazy. Those are real energies that are consumable by certain entities. Every life form must consume in order to survive. You and I have to eat every day to survive. The birds outside. Imagine higher entities, they have to also feed. So their feeding could be our energies released through this space. Anyway, let me continue with this presentation.
Breathe. It's like he can't breathe anymore. It's like he's slowly losing his ability to his oxygen. Like he can't. We're the oxygen. We're the ones that's feeding it. I just wanted to share that, and that's what I'm going to say in reaction to this video. And if you want to watch the rest of it, we did stop at 1338, and I want you to go to her channel and watch the rest of it and support her and subscribe her and subscribe to her. I'm going to tag the video. I'm going to tag her page. You're going to be able to find it. But I just thought this was really, really necessary, because it's a big thing that's not talked about. Like us being able to actually see the entities that dwell in people. You know, some people are really hollow. Like they don't really have soul, or that light, that source in them. You could tell that they're housing a bunch of entities, and they're all fighting and battling each other to actually take the chair. You know how they say when people who have multiple personalities, there's somebody sitting in the chair? It's like that. It's like you housing these different, it's people who house these different entities, and they all swap and take the light or take the chair, and you like talking to them. And sometimes like you can see within your family, within your bloodline, that the entity switches seats with your family member. And it's not your family member talking, or your friend talking, or your boyfriend talking, whatever, whoever talking, it's the entity talking. Because it's like, why would you say something like that to me? What is that like? What is that doing in this? You know, your eyes start to open up, and you start to see like, dang, this person just switched like that, like just straight like that. And that's why you got to be careful with certain people, because like some people, they don't know how to deal with breaking their curses or breaking the chains or cutting the cord.